morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to look at a big Pokemon Go update. And look, I know that over the past couple of days, we've had a couple of Pokemon Go updates. I showed you about the marketing kit, which includes a mystery promo we don't yet know about. I showed you that Japanese product with a whole bunch of cool stuff in. It seems like the Pokemon Go news is slipping out bit by bit. The good news is what we've got to look at today is so much cooler than what we've looked at the past couple of days. It is a very big update with a lot of very cool stuff to talk about, and I, for one, am absolutely delighted. And it does include maybe the coolest mechanic we've ever seen in the Pokemon TCG. No, I'm not exaggerating. Let's go and have a little bit of a gander. Because we've got a new Ditto card. And if anybody remembers, I've said this many times, I love when the Pokemon TCG reflects the games. And I've said that I want the Pokemon Go TCG set to reflect Pokemon Go. And does anyone remember how you catch Ditto in Pokemon Go? Well, the way you catch Ditto in Pokemon Go is that there are certain Pokemon that could be Ditto. You will never see a Ditto in the wild, but certain Pokemon, when you catch them, might turn into Ditto. That is exactly what they're doing in the Pokemon TCG for Ditto. You see, on the screen here is an example of a Bidoof. And you will notice that in the bottom left-hand corner of that Bidoof, what you see is a little Ditto image on the card, like a set symbol. And then you literally peel off the Bidoof, and there is a Ditto underneath. They are literally peelable cards. You peel off the top layer of the pretend Pokemon like a sticker, and Ditto is there underneath. So if you want to get a Ditto in Pokemon Go, the only way to do it is to find a card like Bidoof with that Ditto symbol on, peel them off, and what you're left with underneath is the Ditto. Firstly, that is amazing. Secondly, that is exactly, and I mean exactly, like Ditto is done in Pokemon Go. And thirdly, this raises a whole bunch of questions. Now, if you ask me for my prediction, and let's be clear at this stage, it cannot be anything but a prediction. But if you're asking me for my prediction, what I believe is going to be happening here is that there are going to be certain Pokemon like Bidoof that can be Ditto. And then those are the ones you can have with Ditto stickers. But that means you're actually going to have to be, if you're collecting like I am, you're going to have the peeled off, there's a Ditto underneath for your collection, and you're going to have the cards with the Ditto symbols in your collection. We don't know exactly how many cards can be Ditto. That's information we don't have. There is a lot that we currently don't know. And I, for one, am very, very excited. Just imagine, we know Radiant Charizard's in the set. Imagine if Radiant Charizard could also be a Ditto, and you have to peel off Radiant Charizard to get to the Ditto beneath. Is anybody actually going to be doing that? I'm not sure, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure. I love this. It's so good. Now, as for Ditto as a card, it's got an amazing ability, Sudden Transformation. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any basic Pokemon in your discard pile, except for Pokemon with a rule box. Yeah, that's kind of amazing. Now, you do need to have the necessary energy, but, let's give a couple of examples. Let's take Mad Party. Now, obviously, Mad Party, one of the Pokemon with which you are actually attacking is Bunnelby, because Bunnelby's a basic Pokemon that attacks for 2 colorless energy. 20 damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile that has Mad Party. But what's super interesting here is that you don't need to have a Mad Party member out. So you can whack Poltergeist and Bunnelby and Mr. Rhyme and the Dedenne. You can whack all of them in the discard pile, saving not a single one of them because you don't need to, and then be attacking just using your Ditto. I cannot be the only one that thinks that sounds like an awful lot of fun. Another example, and this was pointed out by Jake Gearhart over on Twitter, and I do think this one is a really, really cool idea, is what about the Shedinja from Vivid Voltage? Now, this isn't going to be legal for long. Pokemon Go will be legal in the current format, but not for long before Shedinja rotates out. But for free colorless energy, put damage on your opponent's active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. What's really interesting about Shedinja is that because that's kind of a good attack, they went and made it so Shedinja only actually can be put into play using Ninjask's Cast-Off Shell ability. Here, you don't need to muck about with that. You just put Shedinja in your discard pile and then copy it with Ditto. Those are just two examples, but I really think this could be a very, very interesting card that could lead to some very, very nice decks. It's kind of similar in that way to Zoroark. Zoroark can turn into any stage 1 from your discard. This can use any basic in your discard. And yes, it's got extremely low HP. It's only got 70 HP. That is tiny. Although actually that's still more than double Shedinja. But I think there is a lot of potential here. This is something I've got my eye on, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen. This is something I've got my eye on. All right, we need to give scores, don't we? I'm giving this one a good solid 4 Wassies, and honestly, that might end up being a little bit low. Now, the next card we really need to talk about here is Melmetal VMAX. Now, we knew this was coming. We were told this is coming. We also know for a fact we were told that one of the V Battle decks is going to be Melmetal and is going to have an alternate art. There's one artwork in the set proper, and then there's the alternate artwork, which comes around in the V Battle deck. And the alternate artwork, for what it's worth, is absolutely beautiful, and I love it. We were told there's going to be a Melmetal VMAX. Is it any good? Well, free metal energy, 160 base, 60 more for each extra metal energy attached to this Pokemon, up to a maximum of 280. So when you really go for this, the deal is this. Free energy, 160, you KO the vast majority of single prize Pokemon. 4 energy, 220, you get the vast majority of Pokemon V. 5 energy, 280, you get basically any Pokemon V star. That's not bad. And actually, if you then add on Hawlucha, you're then doing, that's your Radiant Pokemon of choice, does 30 more to VMAXs. You're then doing 310s, so you're getting a one-hit KO on a bunch of VMAXs, or at least some of them. And then if you add a choice bout, that's the magic 340, and you are getting all of the VMAXs. And I know it's quite a lot, I understand that, but basically 5 energy, you're one-hit KOing all the V-stars. 5 energy Hawlucha choice bout, you're one-hit KOing any V-maxes. Yes, I know that is a lot to ask, that has not gone by me, but you know what? When it really comes down to it, there aren't many Pokemon that can KO all of them. This one might be worth having a little bit of a play around with. In terms of the energy, don't forget you got Bronzong to move it around when you've got it on the board. And we've actually got a lot of things we're losing to the rotation, which, like I say, we will have for a little while, but not that long before we unfortunately rotate. Bronzong will be sticking around, which is rather lovely. That was in Battle Styles. But Metal Saucer that accelerates from the discard, that's going. Zacian, which lets you accelerate, especially in the early game. You know, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, attach any metal energy to Zacian, put the rest in your hand, end your turn. Before we hit the rotation, the combination of Zacian and Metal Saucer could make this actually legit. You'll need Bronzong if you're using Zacian. But still, one-hit KOs like anything. This is worth having a play around with. I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. Lots of investment to actually get rolling. That is not lost on me. But there aren't many Pokemon around that can just one-hit KO anything. And Melmetal VMAX, like, legitimately can. Now, there is a new Bibarel coming, and I adore this Bibarel, because what you've got here is Smeargle photobombing. And once again, if you played Pokemon Go, Smeargle photobombing will be absolutely reminiscent of how it works. And this is amazing. I love it. What I really want, I've said this many times now, what I really want from a Pokemon Go TCG set is I want it to feel like Pokemon Go translated into Pokemon cards. This absolutely counts. And then, of course, we've got the whole Ditto thing I showed you earlier. And I love the care that is going into this Pokemon Go TCG set. as a representation of Pokemon Go. I think whoever's doing this is brilliant and wonderful, and I love them. But this ability is also really good. Reassuring Dam. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, cards in your deck can't be discarded by effects of your opponent's attacks, abilities, item cards, or supporter cards. Basically, it turns off mill. It's like a no milling card. And here's the thing, if you take a deck like Durant is the big mill deck right now. I'm not saying it's the only one moving forward, but we see Durant topping tournaments all the time at the moment. If you take a deck like Durant, it doesn't attack, it's just there to try and discard your deck. So if I get a Bibarel into play, all my opponent can try and do is use something like Boss's Orders to bring it in the active, because the ability only works from the bench, and unless they bring it in the active, they literally can't mill. This is a phenomenal anti-mill card. Also works against item cards, supporter cards, anything along those lines. So we just saw the other day the Misfortune Sisters let you look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, discard any number of item cards you find there. Well, that won't work, because that would be discarding cards from your deck, and unfortunately that's a supporter card, and this just turns it all off. If you're at all worried about milling, this is absolutely brilliant. And let's not forget, we've still got Zoroark, so any Zoroark deck can just play this as a one-of and get it out on the off chance that they need it. And here's the thing. I've just shown you that Ditto is a legit card. Oh wait, we need to have a score, don't we? Let's go ahead and give this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. Worth noting that if Mill ever gets good, this just gets better and better and better. But I've shown you that we've got Ditto, which works as a brilliant card to copy basic Pokemon. And I've just shown you Bibarel, which turns off milling decks. And I've just shown you Melmetal VMAX that, yes, it asks a lot of you, but can one-hit KO anything. And we've legitimately got good cards in this set. This is not just a set of filler. You know, all due respect to Celebrations, Celebrations was a Celebration set. It wasn't supposed to be particularly good. Now, what's interesting about Celebrations, of course, is that actually we've seen some play from some of those cards. We've seen that Evil Talon is a good tech to get rid of Special Energy. And we've seen that Zacian is seeing play to accelerate a little bit of Psychic Energy. We've seen that Mew has seen a bit of play for consistency. And actually, Surfing Pikachu was in one of the top 4 decks in a giant tournament in Japan the other day. So they did actually, in the end up putting some good cards in Celebrations, but they're very much, little niche cards that have uses here or there and took a while to get going. That does not look like where we're going with Pokemon Go. Now, there are 3 more cards that we need to take a little bit of a look at here, but I'll be honest with you, they're basically the same card. We've got Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos, and they're all basically the same card. They've all got 2 colored, 1 colorless energy, 110. As a side note, that's a bad attack, don't worry about it. And they've all got an ability, something symbol, flare symbol, ice symbol, or lightning symbol, that says that your basic Pokemon of the same type as them, fire for Moltres, water for Articuno, lightning for Zapdos, do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And it is a very important side note here, this does not actually say it doesn't stack. And the rule is really simple. If it says it doesn't stack, it doesn't stack. And if it doesn't say anything, then it does stack. Simple as that. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, this could be really good. And it depends very much on the kind of deck you're playing, obviously. But if you need that little bit of extra help, this will give it to you. Now, please do remember, we are talking here about basic Pokemon. VMAXs, V-Stars, they're not basic Pokemon. So you are just going for basic Pokemon V, which right now don't see a huge amount of play. But my first reaction here is the Legendary Beasts. Your Gen 1 trio, mix it with your Gen 2 trio. So let's take Suicune as an example, because that's the one that's seen the most play. Basic Pokemon, and you deal 20 damage plus 20 more for each bench Pokemon, yours and your opponent's. So use Articuno on your bench and all of a sudden, yay, you're doing extra damage. Now, Suicune's awkward because you generally need Ludicolo on your bench, because you evolve up into it and that's how you do all the extra damage. And you generally have the Inteleon line as well, so your bench space actually becomes really awkward in Suicune, and I'm not sure you're going to be able to find space for Articuno to do the extra damage, but it's just a nice example. Anytime you've got a basic Pokemon, single prize or otherwise, and this does work on Pokemon V, and you need to do that little bit of extra damage, these Pokemon will be here for you. And right now, your single prize decks are a lot of stage 1s, and your multiple prize decks are lots of V-Stars and V-Maxes, but keep these in mind, lots of potential in the future, and I'm afraid I'm again going to give them between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. At some point, somebody is going to find a combo with these, and it's going to be awesome. And actually, while we're here, do remember that super effective glasses is a thing now. So it hits for treble weakness. So now we can start playing around with some really quite weak basic Pokemon, knowing that we've always got the option of going, right, well, time I add in the bird and super effective glasses, actually, yeah, we could be onto something here, ladies and gentlemen. We could be onto something. All right. That's what you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we've got. This is very, very exciting news as far as I'm concerned. This is extremely cool stuff. The Ditto and the way that works is just beyond cool. I'm so happy they did that. It's such a weird, dumb mechanic, but I say that with nothing but love. I am so happy they decided to do it. It's brilliant. But then we got a bunch of cards here that are actually genuinely, legitimately good cards. I am getting very, very excited for Pokemon Go. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.